It's also very important to check in with the groundskeepers. Sometimes you just got to let them know you're here. I was with the customer last night and they were having some issues with a heat pump system, and as we dug into it, we uncovered that basically due to somewhat of a unique situation, the indoor coil for the heat pump was seriously damaged and obstructed. And after connecting with the customer, we decided that the best course of action would be to replace that indoor coil. And so we're heading to this amazing customer's house to take care of him and get this system up and running the way that it's supposed to be. So we just pulled up to the house. The next very important thing is to go and connect with the customer and let them know kind of what to expect from me on this visit. It's going to be a lot of in and out of the house and that kind of thing. Also, the system's going to be deactivated for a little while. So it's going to be important to share that information with them, make sure that we're all on the same page. Disappointment comes from unmet expectations. So if I can set kind of a healthy and comfortable expectation, then we should be able to avoid disappointment. It's also very important to check in with the groundskeepers. Sometimes you just got to let them know you're here. We've checked in with the customer, so now the next thing is to get the project started. Here is our heat pump system. What we're going to be doing involves moving some of the refrigerant. It's a little windy out here, I'm sorry. So we're going to try to do some work on the refrigerant circuit, and refrigerant has potential to be harmful to the atmosphere, and so we need to contain and try to keep that from escaping out of the system as much as possible. So the first step in this process is going to be to try to contain the refrigerant either in this outdoor unit or in a cylinder so that it doesn't get released into the atmosphere. We've contained all the refrigerant in this outdoor unit so that we don't lose any. And so now it would be safe to cut the lines on the inside so that I can remove the indoor coil. We've got our old coil cut loose. This whole piece here will be replaced with a new one, and then these connections will be put back together using a high temperature solder that we call brazing. It's very important as you braze that you flow nitrogen through the system, because as I'm going to be using a torch to connect some fittings downstairs, that torch, when it mixes with oxygen, can leave some soot inside the pipes that could cause problems later on. We've got our new evaporator coil installed, so now on to the next step. We'll come back in and tidy some things up here. When we opened the system up earlier, we allowed moisture and oxygen into the lines. We brazed everything together, and now we need to remove moisture from the system. So we're going to use this guy here, called a vacuum pump, to pull any moisture out of these pipes and basically make it so that there's no moisture in there. If you have moisture mixed with refrigerant, then you can get a byproduct of acid, which can destroy the internal part of your air conditioning system. So we're going to hook this up to a vacuum pump and get all the moisture out of the system. So this little dude is called a micron gauge, and it measures, in a short story, the atmosphere inside the piping system, which is over here kind of going into the house and connects to that indoor coil that we just replaced. At less than 500 microns, there's no chance for moisture to be in the system. So now we know we've gotten the moisture out of the system, and that means that the refrigerant that we stored inside of this heat pump system, we can release back into the piping, and then we can start running through some testing. So our new A coil has been installed. The refrigerant's released into the lines. All the boring detail work that I didn't record has been taken care of. And so now we're on to the final part, which is testing the system after the project is done. We don't want to just do a bunch of work and then assume everything's fine and walk out of the door. So we have to go through tests and checks and balances to make sure that the system is working when we walk away. And that's kind of where we're at right now. And so we're going to go through this guy and make sure that everything is healthy and working the way that it's supposed to. Just wrapped up the project here. I checked out with the homeowner, made sure that everything looked appropriate, and verified that everything was working the way that it was supposed to and that they were happy with the project. So everything went pretty well. This is what I enjoy doing, is helping people. It's an unfortunate situation, but we were able to get the system working, get these folks comfortable again. And so, if you have problems in your house and you're looking for something to be added, to be changed, to be repaired in your heating, cooling system, plumbing, electrical, this is what we live for. So if you need anything, give us a call.